Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Hardcore Copper. A hardcore world with a copper theme, with three main goals for episode 1. Armor, food, and building materials for our copper starter house. And what better way to start than in a village? We're going to grab some carrots for the road, hinch a little bed, and collect some of the hay for food. Steal a brewing stand will help us along the way. And we get a leather tunic for a little bit of protection. Just borrow these chests from the village. And then we're off on our journey. The main hunt is for a place to set up our starter base, but this little ruined portal will give us a little bit of loot. I love this meandering river around these mountains. Collect a bit of sugar cane, always good to have, and then it was time to hit a tree and collect a little bit of wood before we made our starter tools. Just like that, we're back on the road again after collecting a little bit of wood. Found a second village at the end of our first day in this world and decided what a lovely night to watch the sunset and then sleep away our sweet dreams. Day 2, we woke up, collected our bed, made ourselves our bread for food, and then looted around this village. We found a little bit of coal, which was handy. Also our first little hint of iron, which would definitely help. A little more bread for the road, and some other food as well. Now it's time to get caving. We needed some armor, and this zombie was our first enemy. Now these shaders do make things appear very dark, so I'm going to use a lot of torches around the place. But as you can see, we found our first bit of copper, which is very exciting for this world. There will also be a rule to wear always one piece of copper armor, which keeps with the copper theme of this world. We're going to time-lapse through our collection of gear and going to smelt it all up, a whole lot of copper, before we went and made our first set of copper armor. That is 2 of our first 3 steps of this world complete. We did a bit more mining throughout day 2. We made our first ever iron pickaxe and helmet for a little bit of stronger protection, and then it was time to be off again to explore. We found our way to a mountaintop to try and see a view when we came across this opening. This view took away my breath, might I say. It is unbelievable with the sun setting. I set up my bed for the night and enjoyed this meandering river amongst the mountains. Collected my bed on the morning of day 3, and I really wanted to embrace this view, but I knew that I could find a better spot to set up our starter base. I climbed this mountain with an epic view, which just only got better and better the way I went around it, and that's when I knew this was going to be our mountain to begin on. So, set up the crafting table, lay down some light, started by cooking up all that beef, some more copper of course, and then setting up our chests. Day 4, we had to get this place going, getting all those materials ready for our starter build. Sugarcane's going to come in handy later game too, so we planted all that and then made a little farm to grow some crops, just the basics, nothing too fancy there, and then laid out our copper to oxidize, which will be used in our build. Next, we needed some spruce logs for the build, so got a bit of bone meal and got a couple of spruce trees. Unfortunately, was one sapling short, but we came back to that later. In the meantime, collected some cherry blossom trees for a little bit of decorations potentially in the house, composted up some more bone meal, got some more spruce, and then we came across our first enemies of the journey. I thought could be an easy take given I have a shield, but unfortunately they were quite good at shooting through it. So things got serious real quick when I got down to 2 hearts and I decided to run until I hit the hole, and I was panicking hard. The pillagers dropping down after me, about to shoot. I thought just box myself in, protect and reset, which just gave me enough time to breathe, think and then act. What's a hardcore world without a little scare early, they say. But I was very happy to see the other side of these pillagers. A giant spruce tree finally giving us the spruce wood we need, and I found the ultimate spot for our starter base. So we took away some of the mountain with a time lapse here, and then we watched a lovely sunset from our view. Day 6 begun, and so did the building. Spruce logs to set out our template, and then we had to collect our final few materials on day 6, and then a few more materials on day 7. A lot of cobble and a lot of spruce logs. A little bit of sand, and the materials were all complete. And we did a little bit of excavating around the house and then it was time to build. Added in those copper detailing, which I really liked, throughout the house. A few lanterns to brighten things up. I was pretty stoked by the time this house had finished. The exterior was all done. Now it's time for interior, which we're going to time lapse through. This took a long time. We did also go on a little mining journey to get some more materials, which ended up finding us our first diamonds. But ladies and gentlemen, I present you the starter house. Ladies and gentlemen, I am very happy with this house and how it turned out. The outside is looking very cozy, and inside even better. A few themes of birchwood, copper, and then the obvious spruce. With some logs, spruce logs, a nice wall of everything you could need, and look at this view. Wow. I cannot get enough, ladies and gentlemen. Everywhere you look around this house, it is just beauty in the mountains. I'd like to consider this first episode an absolute success. I hope you ladies and gentlemen enjoyed Coppercraft.